Everyone, welcome back to Robbs MetalWorks. We are here back at the historic Sunken Gardens Theater to check out, yes, one of my favorite bands of all time, the band Creed, and I have with me the band Mr. Brian Marshall. B-Marsh. How you doing?
What's up, man? B-Marsh, yeah, you must follow my Twitter or something.
Oh yes, we follow all things Creed, Alter Bridge, and Tremonti here at the program.
I'll go ahead and apologize for my Twitter account.
You're not keeping up with it as much?
No, actually, I'm on it quite a bit. That's really the only thing I do anymore. I'm still on the Facebook kick a little bit, but I really never update it. But I've really gotten into the Twitter thing. It's a cool way to follow a lot of the people that you are interested in, you know, especially bands and that sort of thing. There's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Interesting. So all you people out there who are not following Brian just yet, be sure to look for him on Twitter.
At Brian A. Marshall.
There you go.
Not Brianna, Brian A. Marshall.
Let's quickly talk about why you're here in the Alamo City. Welcome to San Antonio. It's a great thing to have Creed back here. I believe the last time was in 2009, and y'all were playing the AT&T Center. I was there at that show, killer show for the Full Circle tour. So great to have you back. Let's get started now talking about this tour. I think what makes it so special is that not only are you guys playing smaller venues, but also playing like Human Clay and My Own Prison front to back. Talk a little bit about the premise behind that kind of this kind of tour.
Well, that was actually the last tour we did. This one we're not really doing that.
Okay.
It was a cool thing. It was kind of a tough thing to do because the albums have such a different vibe as far as when you're listening to it. Rather than seeing it live, it's tough to keep a crowd like energetic and really with you all the time, you know. So there's a lot of peaks and valleys that happen in the record, and I think it's probably not something we're ever going to do again. But it was an interesting thing to do, and it brought a lot of a lot of our core fans, you know, came like to see like just the My Own Prison or just the Human Clay or even both. You know, so it was a really cool thing to do. You know, learning those songs again was really, you know, getting back to the roots and really, you really kind of see how much you've progressed as musicians when you go back to playing stuff that you recorded 13 years ago, 14 years ago, and some of the songs we hadn't played in that long. We've never played some songs live.
I was about to say that. I'm sure there were some tracks you guys had never played live.
So going back and rehearsing those songs and playing them live was really a neat experience for us. And I guess it was for the fans too, but I don't think it's something that we're really going to stick with.
When you think back about the debut and even the greater acclaim that the band received with Human Clay, what do you most think about when you think about those two releases that really kind of built the foundation for Creed?
You're talking about My Own Prison and
yeah.
Well, I mean, they were both much different. Like I said, we had a lot of time before we recorded My Own Prison. We really had like 3 years where we were doing some serious writing and we were playing out and we were playing cover songs. And every time that we would do a live show, our goal was to try to write a new original song so we can throw out a cover or something like that, you know. And we had a lot of time to develop that material, and I think it probably, in my opinion, it turned out to be like the most raw sounding record because it really wasn't produced to like the level that a major production could have done. But we did get it remixed and that sort of thing. But it was just really raw, and then you know, the evolution of the band and the tighter we got and the more focused we got on songwriting and that sort of thing, then that's kind of where Human Clay seemed to be a little bit more polished, and even more so with Weathered and even more so with Full Circles. It's just a matter of, you know, it's just finding that thing that works for you. But I think, in my opinion, my favorite record still, listening back, is My Own Prison, just because it's raw and there was a certain drive and passion about us back then that we still have, but it was just, when you hear those songs, when you play those songs, there's a certain nostalgic thing that comes with it. And it's like an old perfume that you smell or something like that, you know?
I was actually
cologne, maybe perfume, cologne, I don't know, whatever's your preference.
I was actually a very big fan of Full Circle, and I think a lot of fans were maybe a little apprehensive because the band had been apart for so long. Um, and that's where I guess where I want to go with this question is, how did you feel at the reunion, about the reunion of Creed? Looking back at it now, um, you were surprised at how well things turned out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it was a process. You know, there was a lot of things we had to get talked out and discussed. And of course, the writing process was, you know, even though it was taking on a similar shape, there was still a lot more involvement with all of us, you know. But you know, it was a really unique experience. You know, working with Howard. He was a great producer. He really didn't spend a lot of time there, but when we were recording the record. But I think overall, I think it gave us, you know, it was our best sounding record overall. But you know, we don't play as many songs as I would like off of that live, but we're starting to incorporate. We're playing Time now, which is cool. It's one of my faves off that record. Time, and we're rehearsing Rain a little bit. And
Walk Away in Silence.
Thousand Faces. You know what? That would be a good one to do.
I love that song.
Yeah, and On My Sleeve is one of my faves. So, yeah, some good stuff we could play off that. But it was a great experience. We're, you know, writing some new material now. So who knows? You know, it could be something up real quickly in the future.
Let's go there. There are obviously people who follow the band online have kind of seen, you know, pictures of the band kind of in the writing process for the new Creed record. How's that progressing?
Right now, we're deciding on where and who will record it. The material there's about 6 or 7 songs that we got together at Mark's house for a week or two, and you probably saw some of those Twitter pictures and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that stuff is still out there. We just haven't gotten the time to sit down and record it yet. You know, everyone's so busy with some other things. You know, Mark's Tremonti solo project, Creed, and Alter Bridge, in the future. So it's been pretty busy, but we'll find some time.
When would you anticipate that the new Creed record will see the light of day? Or when would you like for it to see the light of day?
It's a really good question. I would like for it to see the light of day early next year. But I can't make any promises. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in all of our lives, you know, professionally and personally, and we're going to try to hash it out as quickly as we can. But you know, we want to make it right and make it good, and make it solid for the fans and for us. You know, so we'll see.
Great. Well, I know that people out there are anticipating new music from the band. Again, getting back to you know, this tour, you know, and obviously, like I mentioned off camera, you know, last time I saw you guys, it was at the AT&T Center, big arena type atmosphere. These are more like amphitheater type shows. What have the shows been like? Do you enjoy doing these more intimate type of shows?
I do. There's something comfortable about being on stages this size and being in theaters and having that intimacy, you know, we're doing like between 2,000 and 5,000 on average, but then there's some shows that we do, like in El Paso, I think there was 8,000 or 9,000. So we have really great support with us, Eve to Adam and Adelita's Way, and these guys really get the crowds fired up.
But talk a little bit about working with Mark on these shows. I know that, you know, we all know that he's always sang backups, but was it a little different now to see him up there doing the lead vocals?
Yeah, you know, it really surprised me. You know, Mark pulled me aside. I think we were touring with some of Alter Bridge's last shows. I think it's Soundwave in Australia, and that was when he asked me. We were in an airport, and he asked me if I wanted to play bass, and I was just like, because I'd only heard a few of the songs. He kind of kept everything. I mean, he was playing it for us. I mean, but you know, nothing really, like he didn't really, you know, play a whole lot of it because it was still in the process of being mixed and everything. But so anyway, in Australia, yeah, I was, you know, kind of floored and definitely wanted to do it. And then the Alter Bridge tour ended, and I was on my way on an airplane going to see a friend, and he calls me and he's like, well, you still want to do it? I'm like, of course. He's like, well, can you be back here in 5 days? We need to rehearse because we're going to do a DVD shoot in Chicago before the Creed tour starts. And I'm like, wow, here we go. And so I'm like, well, yeah, okay, all right. Well, let me talk to, and I'll call you right back. So I called him back, and I was back down in Orlando in 5 days, and E-Rock was there. E-Rock recorded bass on the record. I'm the touring bass player. We'll see what happens on the next Tremonti record because I really want to record on it. Yeah, it was really neat to see Mark. It was just, I had to listen to the music and I had to practice it before I got down there, and I got really, I got really into the songs, so I was already like kind of amped to get down there and play, and just started going through them, man. And it took probably a good week and a half, 2 weeks to really get it solid because it's no walk in the park.
I read some of your posts actually online where you said that you were really getting adjusted to and having to get adjusted to that new music.
Yeah, because I'm not a pick player. I'm playing with my fingers, and there's a lot of chugging, a lot of sixteenths, and a lot of, it's a different scenario. It's more metal, and playing with your fingers and really getting those gallops and that sort of thing. It takes, you got to ingrain it in your brain, and yeah. So yeah, it was really neat seeing Mark do. He's, amazing songwriter, amazing guy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you could hear him really well. He was not straining too hard. He was just really solid, and he's playing these death-defying solos, to boot. So yeah, it's really a cool experience. So that tour is going to be happening after this Creed tour. And then, it's just been...
If I'm not mistaken, you will be back here at this venue in the fall in support of a radio show for 99.5 KISS.
Great. I haven't seen all the dates locked up yet, but yeah, I'm sure we'll be back here. This is probably the same venue, huh? Yep. So you said? Yep. Can dig it.
Yep. So, we'll definitely be here in support of that. Because we're big fans of the Tremonti record, and I think a lot of people were really happy to kind of see Mark reveal some of his metal roots on that record.
Me too.
He's told me many times, he goes, Rob, my roots are in metal.
He is. He's always been a metalhead. I think Venom and
Forbidden's one of his favorites.
Yeah. He just did a taping for the Metal Show.
Yeah.
With Eddie Trunk.
Yeah.
And one of his idols was on there, and he was basically crapping his pants before. Because King Diamond was there. Because King Diamond is like one of his idols, so yeah, pretty cool.
I like it when I see pictures of him. He's wearing a Merciful Fate shirt.
Yeah, he likes that shirt. Yeah.
Killer. And I'm glad you mentioned the shoot for the DVD, the Tremonti, the DVD footage for the Tremonti Project. To my knowledge, there's only been one track released of that footage. I was a little no.
I think there's been quite a few more.
From the professional shoot?
Yeah, from the one in Chicago that we did before the Creed tour. Yeah, I think there's quite a few of them on YouTube.
I shall have to look deeper. I have not seen them.
6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought...
it hasn't been released yet, but...
is that the plan?
Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely release that.
Sweet. I thought it was going to be part of the CD, the deluxe edition Tremonti.
That's maybe? I don't think so. I think it'll probably be a separate deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'd like to see that footage.
Yeah, me too.
Sounds good. Okay, Brian, I don't want to keep you all afternoon. I'm sure we could chat away, but anything we missed about you personally, or anything going on with the bands right now?
No, I'd like to apologize. I don't mean to always shy away from you. I know that you've interviewed Mark quite a few times, and I'm one that kind of keeps away from the camera, keeps the distance, I'm not always in the dark. I'm kind of in the spot, and not in the spotlight. I'm always kind of in the dark. But I appreciate you taking time with me.
Definitely. I want to give shout out to Greg and Jackie out there for hooking us up with Brian today. I told him, yes, give us B-Marsh. We'll have a whole lot to talk about, not just about Creed, but about a whole bunch of other things. And we haven't even touched about Alter Bridge, but we know you're off cycle with Alter Bridge right now, but we'll catch up with you next year.
Awesome, man. Look forward to it.
Thank you, Brian, for your time, sir. I appreciate it. Remember, everyone out there, look for the new Creed record out sometime next year. That is, if 2012 doesn't go down in December. But and also keep your eyes and ears open for the Tremonti Project. Brian is part of the band. They will be here later this fall. Remember, you saw the man only right here on Robbs MetalWorks.
What if I could make